You know, it's crazy. It seems like FMCSA right now can't get anyone to hold a position here. We just talked about this a few weeks ago. You know, FMCSA acting administrator Adrian Kmeyer steps down after 2 weeks. Alex Lockie did a article about this. And you know what? I went on the FMCSA actual site, and guess what? Sue Lawless is back as the acting administrator. And so that just lets you know that something went wrong. I'm not sure what really happened, because on X, it showed her going to a driving school, getting behind the wheel, trying to learn the biz, what she can. You know, she was a lawyer. She was great at paperwork. She was great at compliance. But for some reason, this right here, you know, it doesn't make sense. Now, what the biggest thing that doesn't make sense is why, you know, they don't have somebody that actually understands trucking and transportation in the business. FMCSA is supposed to be for the safety of commercial vehicles, and you need someone that has some experience in the truck, and they don't have anyone. Clearly, she didn't want the job. Why not give it to a truck driver or someone that understands that part of the transportation world? You guys know I live out in Texas now, right? Houston to be exact. And so everything that's Texas news when it comes to trucking, I do want to share it as well. You know, there's a lot of big trucking out in the Texas area, and especially San Antonio. You guys are out there all the time. So I want to let you know this. It's coming soon. Basically, it officially no more overnight truck parking in San Antonio. It says here semi-truck parking was already prohibited on residential streets, but the amendment will ban semi-trucks from parking within 1,000 feet of residential areas between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. The amendment allows exceptions for semi-trucks loading, unloading, or making emergency repairs. So if you're not bringing them stuff, they pretty much don't want you there, right? And so it looks like the amendment also raises the fine for violations in the ordinance from $35 to $500. The change will go in effect in 30 days, April 19th, 2025. Truckers will be allowed a 60-day warning period before any fines are issued, and citations will only be issued after 90 days. Well, it is our duty as elected officials to protect our residents and our city streets, and are not meant to serve as free parking for these oversized vehicles. So, yeah, you want to protect your residents, but if truck drivers don't deliver stuff right, then you're not going to be able to protect them if they got nothing to eat. Truckers, the big thing here is starting April 19th, just be wary. If you are in San Antonio area, if you're parking there and you didn't load or unload something, and you don't pretend like you got something wrong with your truck, they're going to give you a fine for $500. They do not want you parking from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. We just had a conversation about this just the other day, where a driver was letting their boss know that they were intoxicated. And next thing you know, the company owner called the police and kicked the driver out, right? Said, luckily he was not arrested because he was not behind the wheel. Now, like I've stated before, you can't have any alcohol in the cab. You can't have anything in your body 4 hours before you start driving, right? So CHP puts this out here and says this truck driver was sober but put out of service, because when they were pulling him over, I guess the police officer has dog ears, because they heard some clicking and clanking, and they opened up the mini fridge and saw a couple beer bottles. Because of that alone, this truck driver was put out of service. So it's here to let you know, do not have alcohol in the truck unless it's a part of your bill lading and you're hauling it. So like we stated, San Antonio doesn't want truck drivers from a certain time in their city. Well, the New York City Department of Transportation just announced this new pilot program that says it will use metered commercial vehicle parking to encourage truck drivers to stop parking illegally. So it says here, on March 20th, 2025, New York City DOT debuted the overnight truck parking pilot, which officials hope will improve parking compliance and minimize overnight truck parking in residential areas. Let's listen in.
Good morning. My name is Zach Miller, and I am the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Trucking Association of New York. This initiative is crucial because the current lack of safe overnight truck parking forces truck drivers to make difficult choices. Either violating federal hours of service regulations or resorting to unauthorized or unsafe parking, both of which create safety and quality of life issues. By ensuring that drivers have access to designated parking during their mandated rest hours, this program not only enhances road safety, but also helps mitigate disruptions in neighborhoods affected by overnight truck parking. It supports the safe and efficient movement of freight while ensuring the needs and quality of life of local communities. We thank Commissioner Rodriguez and DOT's Office of Freight Mobility for their leadership on this crucial issue.
Buenos dias. Thank you, Adonis. And good morning, Maspeth. Are we ready to take our residential streets back or what? And I really want to thank my brother, DOT Commissioner Adonis Rodriguez, for being out in Queens this morning to launch this important program. You know, for far too long, communities like Maspeth, Forest Hills, and Springfield Gardens have had to deal with the giant tractor trailers creating safety hazards on our roads. We've tried towing, but there simply aren't enough tow trucks. We've tried ticketing, but a lot of these big companies can eat the fines with no problem. But I think we can start to make some headway with this new overnight commercial parking program. We all know and use the Park NYC app, so I don't want to hear companies say it's too tricky to use. I don't want to hear from residents anymore about how unsafe our streets have become because no one should be made to feel that way. So thank you to DOT for its efforts to address this problem. It won't just save us some much needed parking spaces when we come home from work at night. It will save lives because we're all tired of seeing heartbreaking stories of pedestrians and cyclists being hit by trucks on residential roads. We're all tired of seeing drivers crash into tractor trailers illegally parked on the service roads of our highways. I know I'm ready for safer streets, and I'm proud to work with DOT to deliver exactly that in Queens County. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, Commissioner, on expanding this pilot. And this is a pilot, but we want to see it expanded to ensure that we can make our streets safer in the months ahead.
So, Mother Truckers, when we talked the other day about Walmart becoming its own freight broker, I did ask the question, do Walmart truck drivers that work for their private fleet now feel like their job is in danger? And a few actually responded back and said that they feel like their job is not in danger, and others think the gameplay is that we'll start getting smaller and they'll start just contracting a lot of their freight out to save money. My truckers, what are your thoughts about this right here? This is continuing. It's a pilot program, of course, but like all things, if you watch the way Walmart does things, it's always the race to the bottom. I'm surprised that they pay their drivers so well, which I'm happy for. But when you look at things, they want things cheaper, right? And the thing I didn't talk about in the other video was they put in so much of an investment in self-driving autonomous technology. And so you just got to know that what is their true gameplay? At one point, get truck drivers out of the truck. I don't know. I'm just stating the facts that are happening right now.